Hello, everybody. There we go. Happy Friday, everyone. Give people a minute to join in. Hello, I see Critters and Crochet is here. Hello. Can actually say hey to some of the first people while I see them joining in. Trying to wave at everyone. I see Tracy is here. Conley Crocheted. Aaliyah's here. Hello, Aaliyah. Hola. Is C. Canepa. Hello. Yes, it is afternoon. I say morning because I'm still drinking my coffee. You know that. Yes. Hey, Leah. Well, hello there. Yes, I'm from Brazil. Hello from Brazil. Well, you guys, this is Pink Sheep and Friends Friday. It has become a Friday tradition here on my channel to bring on friends from the crochet and fiber world. Hello, Ellen is on for a few minutes. Hello, my crafty hook. Hello, so many people. Welcome, welcome. But yes, every Friday I bring on a new friend that I have found in the crochet and fiber community. And today I'm super excited because just last week, we talked to Kelly of Knitbrooks, who makes hand-carved hooks, and it just so happened, I didn't plan it out, but we have 2 weeks in a row that we are bringing hook makers on to our Pink Sheep and Friends chat. So today, I'm going to be talking to Diane of Love Stitches All. She uses resin to hand pour some amazing crochet handles. So if you can actually go up to the top here, click on this, and it should give you the option to go follow and check out Love Stitches All. If you're not following her, go check her stuff out. Her handles and her hooks are amazing. So check her out. But we are going to bring her on to chat today. So I'm so thankful you guys are here live hanging out. If you don't have time to watch the whole video, don't worry. You can always watch it again. I put the replay here on my feed on Instagram, but I also have an entire playlist dedicated to these Pink Sheep and Friend chats on my YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com/pinksheepdesign, you can check out my playlists and you can find the Pink Sheep and Friends playlist, and you can make some new friends and listen to some crochet chats maybe while you crochet. Great binge listening if you like things like podcasts. Aaliyah says, I have so many of her hooks and love them. Woohoo! I figured we'd have some fans on here today. So I'm just super excited to have you guys and to be here. And cheers, everybody. Let's bring Diane on. Let's see. I think I have to request. So if we can find her. It expired. I think that's what happened. Let's see if it works. Fingers crossed. Oh, there we go. Yay!
I gotta flip the camera. Hold on. I gotta flip the camera.
You're good. You're good. That actually happened. I think that the same thing happened at least last week or the week before. The camera came on and it was opposite direction, but you got it.
Yeah, quick thing. We're good to go. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. A little nervous, but I'm excited.
No need to be nervous. You can do just a super quick little intro if you want and just let people know. I mean, I know I introduced you already, but who are you and what do you do?
I am Diane. I am from Tacoma, Washington State. I'm 34. I keep on saying I'm 35 because my husband's 35.
I'm 34 too. Years old. Yeah.
I've been making crochet resin hooks for this March was 2 years. So it's been a good dang 2 years for sure.
Someone said, OMG, Diane, your hair isn't in a ponytail or messy bun.
Yes, my hair is always up. Like, I would probably say like 95% of the time because it's so long that here, I'll show you guys.
Yeah.
It's just,
I think we're in the same club. Check that out.
Long hair, don't care. I just always have long hair, so I've never cut it short. I think my mom cut my hair short in like 4th grade because I begged her and she chopped it to like right here. Never again. So it's always been long.
That was college for me. So
Yeah.
freshman, end of my senior year in high school to probably mid college, it was
Mhm.
like the angled
Like a bob.
cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I was like,
If I ever do, because I've been telling my followers, I'm going to cut my hair. I'm going to cut my hair. It's overdue. It's going to be a long inverted bob. So it's going to be
yeah,
like yours, but
yeah,
it'll probably end right here in the front.
yeah,
I can't do this anymore. And plus, I have a
yeah.
big head. So
Well, and I
if I
like
was to
putting
cut
my
it
hair
short,
in
it would be bad.
ponytails and things.
Right? Yeah.
Like I hate not being able to like just pull it up and get it out of the way or
Mhm.
braid it or something like that. It's nice to
Exactly.
have it long. But
I officially found out my hair was too long when I was wiping my daughter's butt on the toilet,
oh
and
no.
my hair went in the toilet and touched the water. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna jump in the shower, and I need to go find a hairdresser to cut my hair.
Oh my gosh.
It was
Yeah,
so
that's a
gross.
sign. I do
I
think
get
that's a
resin in
sign.
my hair all the time too, so that's a problem. So that's why it's always up.
Oh, so you said you've been making the resin hooks now for 2 years. Is
Yes.
that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
so I'd love to know a little bit about the journey before that. So let's go like all the way back. When did you start crocheting and do you knit? Did you learn to knit and crochet or is it just
I
crochet?
I recently learned how to knit. Probably like not even 5 months ago, I knitted like my first three beanies, and I haven't touched it since because I don't have any time. But
Mhm.
my journey, gosh, I would say 2013 was the first time I picked up a crochet hook. I saw someone made a Lilo and Stitch beanie, and my son was just born. So I was like,
Uh,
I can
yeah.
do that. YouTube is probably my savior for everything. So I learned off of YouTube. I started selling just, word of mouth. And then I quit and didn't pick up my crochet hook until 2016.
Mhm.
And I started making beanies, selling them on Etsy, crocheted items and such. And then I tried to dabble into pattern making.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
Uh,
But the money I did make from that, I put towards making pom poms because, you got to market your pattern. So you got to buy pom poms for the beanie pattern. And I was like, man, these pom poms are expensive. I wonder if I can make these pom poms.
yeah.
So I bought a yard, made a whole bunch. Someone messaged me and said, are you selling these? I would love to buy like 20 of them. And I
Hmm.
said, sure, why not? And it just
Yeah.
took off. After a while, though, my hands started hurting. I can't sew like that. So I said, how am I going to utilize like 50 yards worth of fur that I have here without hurting my hands? So I decided DIY packs so that people can make them at home and the
Yes.
price is cheaper for them so that it makes sense for them to buy it. So with that
Oh, that's
money,
smart.
I saved. I saw that people were making acrylic and resin crochet handles, and I already was in love with resin art as it was. So I said, let's try that. So I saved all my money for like a month and a
Yeah.
half. And then I decided I'm going to close my DIY shop for the pom poms and have a huge sale. And I did that, and I dumped it back into the business. And yeah, I haven't stopped since. So it's just been a progressive thing. I always thought I was going to be pattern designing. And then I always
Yeah.
thought I was going to be pom pom making. But
Hmm.
I always thought that was my niche because I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, but no, it was resin hooks. It just led me there. So I'm really grateful to everyone who supported me since the
Yeah.
beginning, because if it wasn't for them, there is no crochet hooks. So
Yeah. Well, and that's someone just said, I still have a pack or two of your DIY palms to make.
yeah,
Um, and I think that's so interesting because it really is. Do you do this full time or do you have another job that you work as well?
full time
Full time.
since I started. Since
Yeah.
I
And
started, I was a stay-at-home mom, so I wasn't doing anything. And I've always been a busybody. I've always worked. I've always been doing something, but I
yeah.
hated working for other people.
Yep.
Um, After like 2 years someplace at an office, setting, I just didn't feel good on the inside. So I just think I finally found something that's me. So
Yeah.
I'm forever
Well, and
grateful.
I do think that there is a mindset that works really well for working for yourself, but
Mhm.
it's a very specific mindset because, like you said, you did so many things to get where you are, and that means that there may be new opportunities on your horizon that you may try, and I think that this idea of like getting creative, like, okay, this isn't working anymore. What can I do to still, you know, love what I'm doing and not
Yeah,
feel like I have to like go get a job or do something that I don't want to do.
exactly. Because that's what was
Um,
going to happen. I was looking for a job
yeah.
before I stopped the DIY packs, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like, no, I got to figure something else out. I'm just not
Hmm.
that person. I know a lot of people can work in a, you know, in a job and work for somebody, but for me, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I just always enjoyed having my own time and doing things on my own turn. Maybe I'm selfish or spoiled, but I don't know. I work better in an environment like that. So,
Well, I definitely think, I mean, because I did right before I went full time with Pink Sheep, I was working in an office setting, but it was a nonprofit, and I did feel good about the work. I loved the, you know, the team, and it
yeah.
was a good space, but I really did struggle with other people's timelines. I really struggled to stay organized when it was someone else's, like, this is when you have to do it, this is what you have to do, and
Mhm.
it would, I didn't enjoy it. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like there wasn't as
right.
much joy, and like even if it was a project I liked, of like I just don't want to do this right now. And with this job, it's like, I don't have to do it right now. I do something else right now, and I can do that next week.
Exactly.
You
It's a
know?
blessing. It truly is because gosh, I mean, life happens, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, kudos to all the people out there who have a job and have children and life going
Hmm.
on, and they have a full-time job because
Hmm.
it's a priority that, you know, it's just a blessing. My daughter was sick not too long ago, and I was like, I have to work. And I couldn't imagine if I had to go into work and
Yeah.
have my husband
Leave
stay
the
home
house.
with
Yeah.
her. So, you know,
Yeah.
bless all the mommies and daddies out there that have full-time jobs and kids and all that stuff,
Yeah.
because I don't know how
And
you guys do it.
you have two,
I have
is that right?
three. I have
Three.
three.
Okay. And how
I
old are
have
they?
two boys and a girl. It's Uriah, he's 9. Tatum is 7, and Grace, she is 4 this August. So
Oh, you have a handful.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the first two, they stay at their dad's for half the week, and I got custody of them for the other half. So it gets crazy over here. It gets crazy. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I think oh, so this is interesting. And I'm going to lead into this question first with,
Mhm.
you said that you were in love with resin art. Did you do resin art before you did the hooks, or did you just like the look of it?
I followed like resin art for like coasters, keychains like this. I have a
Mm-hmm.
coaster. I have this coaster that I made.
Oh,
It's a Monstera one. So I
yeah.
really like that design. I like beach themed stuff. So, and I liked dominoes that they would make. So I
Hmm.
just really liked how pretty it was, the glitter.
Yeah.
And
Who
I
didn't
just
like
thought it's
glitter?
so interesting what they can do with it. And you can literally make anything with resin. Like there's molds for anything. So
Yeah.
it was just so interesting. And once I saw someone make acrylic hooks, I was like, there has to be someone who's made a resin hook. And there was like one or
Yeah.
two. So I was like, the market is good for me to jump in on this and try to take it, you know? So
Yeah.
it's been amazing. It's been really
And
good.
finding your niche in that world.
Yes.
So the scarving artist, Aaliyah, says, I'm just getting into resin, not hooks, but what advice can you give to people learning about resin in general?
Do your research, and this is just as important. Please be safe. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
tell you like, okay, so reason why I say being safe is because the first 6 months that I started making hooks, the pandemic just hit. The month that I opened was when it was March, and that's when Washington State shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought all my gear online to, you know, protective PPE, all that stuff. But I bought it off of Amazon, and I probably should have not gone cheap because, you know, I didn't have a whole bunch of money. This was an investment. So I bought a
Yep.
cheap mask. The mask
Mm-hmm.
didn't work properly. I had a crazy skin reaction to resin. I got
Mm-hmm.
exposed and I had a rash that started right here and it blew up and went all the way up here. I'm talking, it's gross. It was like it's peeling, flaking, itching, cracking. Thank God we had filters and the pandemic hit, so we were wearing masks everywhere
Yeah.
because I
Oh,
went to like 3 dermatologists. 4 medications didn't work. It was excruciating. So that's why I beg people, please, 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 everyone's skin and everyone's lungs, everything is different. and reacts differently, but just from my experience, don't do it because it was 10 months worth of pain. So you buy the right gear, make sure you're using the right safety precautions for any resin. And what I mean by research is resin epoxy is it's like a science project. You're literally putting two chemicals together and it's a chemical reaction and it hardens, and that's how you get your product. You really want to do your research because there's different kinds of resins out there for different projects. For industrial use, like handles, knife handles, crochet handles, there's a certain epoxy that you have to use that's really, really hard. And if you want to make like keychains or, you know, simple stuff that you don't have to use with your hands, I would go, you know, you can use pretty much any resin for that. So do your research because epoxy is not cheap. It's just not. So if you don't want to waste your time and money, research, research, research. I've wasted a few $100s on not researching and just wanting to hurry up and try it out. And I have this material that I don't use is just sitting there now. So research and safety precautions. Look up all that stuff. It's super important if you want to pour and use resin safely, especially if you have dogs or family. You definitely need to be careful with resin. So
yeah. And we had this conversation before when we got to chat about the difference. You know, we only use the epoxy resin as a coating. So there's a difference there versus if we were to pour something like you have your jumbo 12 hooks that you released. Do you still have any of those left?
I don't have the 12, but I have my 15 here. It's not clear coated, but I got a 15 here.
Oh, cool.
So
Yep.
It's not clear coated yet, but yeah, I got 12 and 15 right now. I don't think I've sold a 15.
But that is very different than a resin that someone would use just to coat, correct? That was the difference.
So the resin that I use to make this is a really, really hard industrial use. Like you can add like 140 degrees of heat to it and it shouldn't bend. Now, if you are getting a crochet hook that bends, the person did not use the right resin. It should never bend if they use the right one. I've had a lot of people who are like, hey, I wanted to make these crochet hooks. They have them on the molds on Amazon, the basic ones. And people are like, oh, they're just saying it's like for photo props and it's just nostalgia, you know, just something pretty to look at. And I'm like, no, you can make them sturdy. They just have to use the right resin. So it's possible. Just got to do your research. I mean, you can DM me. Anyone can DM me if they want to know what products I use. I'm more than happy to let you know exactly what products I use. But the clear coating stuff is way different than the actual handle resin. So the stuff you use, I put that on my clear coating stuff as well. So
yeah, awesome. So I would love to know a little bit about what are some of your favorite things about what you're doing right now?
The freedom, for sure, and the community, because I don't have friends. Since the pandemic hit, I feel like, you know, friends have kind of dwindled off and we're all doing our own things, but it's the freedom and the community really, really, really helps me get up and do all this stuff, because there's days where I'm like, oh man, there's like 80 hooks I gotta sand and I hate sanding. And I'll get on IG and people are always encouraging and they're liking my stuff, reposting my stuff, and that really, really makes me happy. And I really love it when people tell me why these specific hooks mean so much to them. Those stories I really, really appreciate those ones. So
yeah, those are the feels moments.
The what?
The feels moments. They hit you in the feels.
Exactly. Yes. I like those. Those moments are more cherishing for me than anything else. So,
and this is and she has commented a lot. Perfect Posies by Paige says that Diane created a community where there wasn't one. Resin can be competitive, but Diane is always willing to help. And I think this is something that's really interesting, because the crochet community, there's only so many things that you can make. I mean, really, there is kind of a limit. You've got your hooks, your stitch markers. There are some tools, like we've made some Lucet forks and, you know, some wraps per inch tools, gauge squares, you know, but there is a point where it's like, okay, this is kind of like, this is what we have to make. And so we know other people are going to make similar things. There are other resin handle makers and
Oh
hook
yeah.
makers. There are,
Mhm.
lots of people making some of the tools that we make, like gauge squares. There's tons of different gauge squares. So, and I did a little video about like the idea of community versus competition, but what is your feel on that as someone who, you have competition, but I do feel like there's room for everyone, but there's a mindset there so that you don't drive yourself crazy.
So if you guys, I don't know the stats, but if you look up how many people crochet just in the United States alone, the number, especially since the pandemic hit, the number is overwhelming. So when I first started, there was a few makers out there that was doing what I was doing, but they didn't know I was doing it yet. So when it comes to the community, I'm trying to like say this carefully. I wasn't welcomed very much. So that's why when Paige says stuff like, Diane's been very open with everything, that's the reason why I wasn't welcomed when I first started. And I don't ever want anyone to feel what I felt being treated like that. So that's why I'm so open about it. That's why I'm okay with helping people. Just be kind. There's so much room. Like I said, look up and see how many people in the world, or in just the United States alone, that crochets, and you're going to feel really small in comparison to that number. There's no human possible way for me to make enough hooks for everybody. So really the competition thing, it's like an illusion. It's just a fear that's been set in there. That's just not true. In my opinion, it's just not true. About a year and a half ago, some drama was happening, and I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna stay in my lane. I'm gonna do what makes me happy. And some people might not like this, but I unfollowed a lot of people who made the same thing as me because they started saying, hey, you're making too much similar things, or what I call them is the minions started coming after me. Their friends, their followers started just attacking me. So I said, you know what, I'm going to stay in my lane. And best way I thought I could do that by, in protecting my mental state, my emotional state, and my livelihood, because that's what this is I kind of just made my following very small and kept my head down. Like I said, some people might not like that. I am still friends with some of those people, but it is what it is. Just, we got to be understanding and that there's not really any competition really when there's this many people to provide for. So yeah, I was just hoping maybe by doing this, we can build a community, because if there is no community, build one is what my husband says. So I've been trying to make it so that people know my place is a safe place for all things. So yeah.
Yeah. And let's see, Diane's my bestie. I'm always here for her. I have over a dozen hooks. Hubby told me to slow down. The growth in her and her business is an inspiration. So I think it is inspiring. I think people seeing that it is possible for you to take an idea and turn it into a livelihood. But then I think that you're also very clear, like I try to be, that it doesn't mean it's easy. I mean, there are going to be times where you're going to be working harder than you worked when you worked for the job that you hated.
Yeah. I work more hours now than I feel like I did at my full-time job. Like, it feels like that. Definitely. I'm sure if I clocked in all my hours, it wouldn't be, but just the amount of time I'm thinking about my business and stuff is way more than if I had a job, because the boss at that job will take care of all that crazy thinking. But now it's on me, so I'm constantly thinking about crochet hooks.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about, and I think we touched on this, that it can be difficult when you are spending so much time, working on your hooks and working on your projects, to do things for yourself and to have personal projects. So how has that looked for you? And, how do you work in time for yourself, whether that's a personal crochet project or just time mentally to slow down and do something for you, or to spend time with your kids, or anything like that?
That's something that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to balance things. I'm like a go hard or don't go at all person. So my my challenge in life has been balancing things. So, I just lost track of what we were saying. What was the question again?
Personal time. How do you balance fun?
How do I balance it? Oh, okay. So this is my other thing. If I don't write it down, it doesn't exist. I have to literally notch out time for myself to do things. For like example, skating, quad skating. I started doing that like a couple months ago, but I haven't really practiced much. If I don't write it down in my schedule, it does not exist. So that's the same for crocheting. I live vicariously through everybody else who crochets. So everybody, if you're my follower and you make videos or photos of you crocheting stuff, share it with me. I live through you because I don't.
You're going to get an inbox full of messages.
Oh, I don't care. I love watching videos of people crocheting. I don't know what it is. I can watch that stuff for so long. I'm weird, but I did recently pick up a crochet hook, and I am making a garment right now. Well, I'm making like a tank top, I guess, or a halter top type of thing. I don't know, but I just started making that. So I'm like maybe 30 minutes of work in, and it felt good. I miss it. But like I said, I get to play with crochet hooks all day, and I live through you guys, so I'm fine. But if I don't notch out time in my schedule, it won't happen. So I try.
I mean, and I've heard that. I mean, I feel like that's one of the biggest when you start reading about self-care and, taking time to disconnect, a lot of it is scheduling it in. So like scheduling in time to stretch or, putting alarms on you to drink water, on your phone or something like that.
I don't have time. I used to say all the time, I just don't have time to do that. But then when I actually sat there and like looked at my day on a piece of paper and, time notched it hour by hour, I was like, I got time. I can get off of my social media for the 30 minutes that I'm on for no reason, and I can go skate or pick up crochet hook. And I've done that a few times, and it's been great. So it's been good. I'm trying.
And I do think some of it is that kind of guilt of, I get to work from home, so I should be working,
Right.
So like anytime you take that time. So I've done the same thing. We have a detached garage that has enough space for me to skate. So like even if it was raining or something, I could go out there and just skate around the garage a little bit. And what usually happens is when I allow myself to go out there and do it, I'll stay out there for like an hour.
Yeah, isn't it great? You just lose track of time. Yeah.
And I still get everything done. I still get everything done. So it's like you can't feel bad about taking that time to step away and
right.
Because you'll burn yourself out. I mean, I think that's a real.
Is that very dangerous? Yeah.
Do you worry about that? And has that ever been an issue where you've had to kind of step back?
I would say, so I care for an elderly man. He is 74 years old. He is diabetic, deaf, and blind. I've been caring for him for about 5 years now. So he took a fall last July. And he hit his head really bad. And he had a head injury, and he had to reteach himself how to walk, all that stuff. He couldn't really feed himself very well. That was probably the first time that I was like, that I looked at work with like, I'm tired. It wasn't burnt out because I had so much of the job itself going on. It was just like personal stuff just made me look at work like, ugh. So last July was really tough for me. I would say up until October, it was tough. It was the first time that I felt like I wanted to quit for a while. But it wasn't because of the job itself. It's just a lot of stuff was going on. So that's probably the only time that I felt that. I had to really sit there and assess, and put time to the side to do my job because it was starting to be like, I just don't want to do it. I want to take care of him. I got a lot of stuff going on. But once things started getting better and he got better, he's fine now. He's all better now. He's walking, eating on his own. That's when things like the joy of working started coming back. I was just too worried about him. So that's probably the only time that I felt, I mean, is that even burnt out? You know what I mean? Is that even like, that's just life, I guess. So I guess like when it comes to burnt out, like from making hooks, that hasn't happened yet. I felt overwhelmed Felt like maybe I bit off too much, you know, that I could chew. But I like feeling a little bit on the edge of comfortability for myself. I don't like being comfortable. When I'm comfortable, that's when I start getting lazy and, you know, not taking care of myself. So I like being where I need to be, you know, on top of my stuff. I like being right on the edge where, you know, I hope that makes sense.
It does. I mean, because it keeps you busy. I mean, it keeps you feeling like you have something that you need to do. And that is, you know, I think that I feel like I'm kind of the same way. There's so many things that I could do.
It's like, always something.
You know, yeah,
I mean, and
sometimes it's silly. I say silly stuff that's not really going to like make me, you know, I would say a lot of money, but it's like, I would love to turn these into a podcast, you know, but like going through, like I think this is the 22nd episode now. I finally went and counted because I wanted to start putting like episode numbers on there on YouTube. And I went through, I even opened a podcast account that, you know, you could do, but I have to like download the videos and extract the audio and upload the audio. I'm like, I'm never going to have time to do this.
It takes time. Yeah.
It keeps me busy. I'm like, there's so much I could be doing that, you know, that's why the personal time is so important for me, is like, you have to just like stop working at some point.
Exactly. I could go on and on. I can talk, you know, resin with my husband. I'll sit there and talk his ear off about stuff, and I feel so bad for him. But I think he's starting to catch on to my lingo, and he's starting to understand what I'm doing. So he's like getting into my conversations. But when it comes to hooks, I love it so much. I can constantly do more and more to make the business better, but then I would have no life. But there's always something more we can do. I always love that you know, are doing these lives and stuff, and you get a really, like, we were talking about before in the last Zoom, how you get to do all these things that I wish I could do. I love that you get to interact with the community. I used to, in the very beginning, I always showed my face, but I'm so busy now that I'm just busy making hooks.
And I have to say, photographing myself with hooks is hard. Like, it's really, because it's going to focus on your face, not the hook, or like, I don't know. It's very difficult. And I know mine, I didn't help myself by ours being such a weird shape that like you can't just hold them in your hand and have them all fanned out because the bottoms are so big.
Flattering. Yeah, you want to make it look flattering when you're holding it and stuff.
Yes.
I used to do my nails all the time, and that was the only reason why I did my nails, was for holding the crochet. Now I don't, because they chip all the time. I'm using like,
and then they're chipped in the picture, right?
Yes, and I'm trying to like cover up the chip with the handle, like just, or like I just paint one thumb so that you guys
can hold it. Yeah.
Now you guys know all my tips and tricks. It's only one thumb that's done.
So I was going to ask you too, because my husband actually commented earlier, and I did not get a chance to break it and say. He said he's going to be DMing you about the super resin. He's very interested. But I wanted to ask you, that reminded me, does your husband get involved at all in the process, or is it more of like, you know, you just talk about it together? My
husband is in pretty much every inch of everything that's been going on in Love Stitches All. He actually came up with my name, Love Stitches All. He's the one that came up with that.
That's awesome.
I suck at coming up with names. I just want to pour. I don't want to have to think about anything else. So he came up with that. Power tools that I needed to use, like there's a pressure pot, there's a drill press, there's air compressors, there's vices, there's, you know, the grinder that I'm using. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And even watching YouTube, I'd still be too nervous to do it. So he helped me with all of that, because some of that stuff is super dangerous. It can be very dangerous if you don't use it properly. So without him, this business isn't around, or at least wouldn't have taken off like it has, because I would have had to seek help from like my dad or something. So he has a lot to do with Love Stitches All, and he's turning hooks now too on his spare time. I actually he turned this one that we have, the handle goes in here, but he He turned this one. He pretty much he looked at my agape and he said, why don't you flip it upside down and make it a handle so it has a nub for the pinky? And I said, why don't you go turn something that looks like that? And he did. So
my husband wants a lathe. So this is, it's so, again, like at the parallels, we're going to have to Zoom chat after this to catch up again. But that's something that he's interested in, and that's on the wish list. So,
yeah, I'm not touching that thing. I don't know how you feel about that machine, but I am not.
I haven't seen one. So
It's terrifying. I'm so scared. I've watched 2 videos of what not to do on the lathe, and I saw an injury, and I was like, you can't get this thing. And he was like, I'll be fine. There's people like, if you don't have the machine clamped down onto your resin blank and it spins, it can shoot and go through walls, you guys. You can literally kill somebody. I said, when you're doing that, I'm going to be in the house. You can be in the garage. You figure it out. But he's done it, and he's done so well. He actually created the love handle. This is not mine. He created this. The love handle. Wow. It's my best seller.
Yeah.
He was like, I wanted to make a hook that looked like a woman's silhouette.
Yeah.
So he came back with this, and I was like, oh my God, it's great. And it's my best seller.
And so my husband's still on. He's listening. He says, we want to forge our own metal hooks. That's a 2023 goal. So we have talked about melting down aluminum and trying to make a mold.
Aluminum, yeah. Oh, man, that sounds fun. That sounds awesome.
He just really wants to try some, like, crazy, dangerous stuff.
Let them do that, and then we'll sit here and market it for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So are you getting to, because you guys have the lathe, are you getting to pour, I guess they're called the blanks, is that what they're called? So the blocks, you get to pour those and make them all crazy, and then he can
yeah, so I bought PVC pipe. I bought PVC pipe that was like 2 inches across, and I made a mold of it, and that's what he's been doing. So some blanks are like rectangles, and some blanks are cylinders. I did cylinders because when you put it on the lathe and it spins, if you have the block one, you have 4 edges that you're going to try to
you're going to have to do it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just thought cylinder would be easier, and the chances of him getting hurt by hitting those corners. Yeah. So I got nervous, and I said, I'm not going to make you a rectangle blank. I'm going to make you a cylinder one. And he said it's so easy to cut into it, and it's not jerking back. I mean, he's new at this, so maybe if someone out there knows how to work lathes, if he's doing something wrong, let me know. But I just thought it'd be safer if he had a cylinder one, so I've been making them like that.
I think it's smart. So do you have any of your hooks that you can show off, just in case there are people on here who have not checked your hooks out? And I would love to know if you have, you can pick up to 3, but favorite hooks you've ever made.
Oh,
We hit you with the hard questions.
I actually have 2 of my favorite colorways with me right now. This one's called Retro Feathers. It has a rainbow, like neon feather in it.
That's amazing.
So, a lot of people have been requesting for this one to come back. So that one's one of my top favorite ones. And then fall is coming. I like Rasta colors. So it's like red, orange, yellow, green, and it has all the really pretty autumn leaves.
I have to say, I feel like pouring is an art, because you have created some of the coolest layering effects and color effects. And like, I'm like, I'd be lucky if I could just get the glitter to look right.
It took a lot of practice. I hate looking at my old pours from when I first started. They're still pretty sets, but because I've evolved so much, when I see them, I'm like, oh. But it was a lot of just experimenting. That's all it really is. I try to envision it. I sketch a lot of my ideas down, and that helps me a lot too. I'm taking coloring pencils and coloring it in, trying to get an idea like that. So I have an entire book of pours that I have.
I was going to ask if you had a book. That's amazing.
Yeah, so that if like, a couple years down the road, if I wanted to do like a throwback collection for a restock, I can look back and see exactly how I wrote it all down, how I poured it, 3 seconds of the yellow, 4 seconds
like a
of
recipe book.
So
You're gonna have to put like a skull and crossbones on the front because it's a recipe book.
yeah, it's like that.
Read and die.
I have 3 spiral notebooks so far since I started
Wow.
writing them all down. So I can make pretty much anything. Actually, this the restock for today, I'm going to be doing like throwback colors. So I'm gonna bust that book out. You know, all 3.
Yeah.
It's like a recipe book. So it's really good.
How many hooks have you do you usually release in a release? So when you do like a shop update, how many hooks do you usually have?
I do shop updates every Friday of the month.
Wow.
5 p.m. Yes. And I usually
You're busy.
minimum 2 colorways to 3. So
Wow.
that's about 42 hooks total a week.
A week?
So, yeah.
I hope my husband's listening because he said that we do 1 release a month,
Mhm.
and he wants to start doing 2 releases a month, and was like, I
That's
just
what I
don't
did.
know, I feel like we can do it, but like, dang, I did not know that you were releasing that many. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the first time I told my numbers. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing. So
It's gonna blow your mind hearing it out loud, though.
Yeah,
As you're saying that.
now that I'm saying it out loud, I was like, oh, maybe that's why I feel overwhelmed sometimes.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a lot. But I love doing what I do. The only part I don't like is sanding, but I love doing what I do. So it's been great. And I have a lot of handle designs too. So I don't know. I feel like I'm getting to that point where I have too many. Maybe people can let me know, but I feel like I just wanted to be like a one-stop shop type of place.
Yes.
And everyone has a different way of crocheting, and they hold their hooks a different way, different crocheting styles. So I'm trying to make all sorts of different handles to try to accommodate somebody so they can find something. I think that's why I usually have my designs like fat by the hook part. So it's fat and then it gets thin at the bottom. And that's why I told my husband, let's try to switch it up so that it's thinner. Because I know there's been a few people in the last year that said, hey, would you ever consider making it thin where the actual hook part is? Because that's how I like it, my handles. So I'm listening. If you guys ever have suggestions or want something,
so helpful.
Let me know. Let me know
it's
because
so
just
helpful,
to be better.
Yeah.
I need it. So, yeah.
So I wanted to hit on this too, because one person said, they commented, let's see who it was so I can shout them out. Creations by Jax said ... and they all sell out in minutes. So this is interesting for me because when I first started selling hooks, when we did our first couple of releases, and it's still very new, they did sell out quickly. But my goal for our hooks, because we focus on the jumbo hooks, was to have them in stock, because I felt like that was always the problem, is I could never find cute jumbo hooks. So that's, 10 and up, 10 millimeter and up. And like in stock that were pretty. You could go to Michael's and find one, but like Furls had some jumbo hooks, but they're never in stock. They're always sold out if you're looking for like a 13 or 15. And so we had to kind of figure out the pricing structure to say, we don't want them to sell out. We want to have them, but we also want to make sure like maybe we can do a sale if we price them at a certain price point. So do you have hooks right now that are in stock in your shop? I think the last time I checked, you had some. But
I haven't checked on my website from last week's, but every once in a while I'll have some hooks left over, but they usually pretty much sell out. Since I started, they just sell out. So I just kind of kept it that way. Prices have changed because of inflation and, things are changing around here. And, I'm worth it. So I up prices a little bit. So, it's been tough, but at the same time, it's just been good in the fact that, hold on a second. One second.
Yeah.
No, I have my other phone and my husband's texting me. He texts me 3
you're
times.
good. Yeah.
1 second.
Be like, honey, we're busy talking about you.
Let me text him back a little
Let's
Sorry.
see. Busy.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Busy crochet says totally worth every dollar.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. So totally worth
Oh,
every dollar. Thank you.
yeah, and someone else says I keep telling her to bump the cost up.
Is that Paige? Yeah,
Yes.
that was that girl. She always has my back. She's constant like, hey, girl, it's time to up your prices. I've been seeing other people; they've all upped their prices, and yours are way too low. Yours are good. You need to up your prices. So,
And you have a range. You have a range, right? Don't you have some? Do you have some you sell for more? Maybe some handles that are more expensive than others. Is that?
Yeah. So turned handles are going to be the most expensive handles, no matter what. So those turned handles will probably be like 38 to 45 when I do have them, which is once in a blue moon. When it comes to other ones, though, it's about 34, and I think the highest I've gone was 39. Okay. So I haven't broken the over 40 mark for my regular handles. Turned ones will always be more expensive, though. So yeah, it's about 40.
How are you looking for the newer, the ones that you're pouring that are in the jumbo range? How are those looking for you? And is the process more difficult for those than the handles?
So what I did was I had my husband try to turn a handle that was just straight across. It was just straight across like this. And I told him to leave it a little bit higher, and he sat there and he tried to carve, and he copied one of these jumbo hooks that I had and tried to make the head exactly like that. It is a completely different process because with these handles, I have to drill and insert this hook. With that, I've had to figure out a different way to clear coat it, to sand it, and it was completely new to me. Because I made a mold of it, and the mold has a cut where I have to pull this out of the mold. I got to be able to pull it out, so I had to cut it. It leaves a seam in the front, so I had to learn how to sand that down. It's been good. I think the most difficult part was the clear coating, because with clear coating, I just have this little baby hanging on a little hook, and it just drips off. What do you do with this? So I figured I'll drill a hole at the end and let it hang so that the dripping could be right here, because it wouldn't be as bad. I just don't want anything to be abrasive or to drill a hole where you have to work with. So I figured this end would be the best.
Well, and that's let's see. There's our hole.
Yep. It's inevitable. It's there. I had someone find a place. I had someone message me, and she was like, hey, my 12mm hook I got, it has a hole at the end of it. I don't know if that was supposed to be there and all that stuff. And there's something like, it's a little rough. And I was like, just take a nail file, please, and just file it down. And if it's, but other than that, I can't really do anything about the hole until I figure out a new way of clear coating these. But I just don't see it any other way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a lot of, we tried to hang ours just to see what would happen when we first started, like hanging, from the hook portion, but then it would make a mark because they're not metal, so
and
we would have the mark.
The yarn can get caught on that part where the hook is. So I've already experienced that. So that's why I was like, oh, I got to hang it upside down. That's the only way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a process. But that's what I was going to ask you. So do you feel like you're going to have to price those higher? Because, you're having to go through. Nope, that's good.
I decided like they're going to be in the 28 to 32 range, depending on the materials that I put in it. Because like the clay pieces, the gems, the acrylic pieces that I put in there that sit at the bottom of a lot of handles, I can put it in these large jumbo ones. So those ones will probably be priced more because those are really hard to make. Whenever you put anything like clay or gem pieces at the bottom, it's harder to make, and it's easier for me to break at the bottom while I'm sanding and putting pressure on things, especially when I put it in the vise to drill a hole into it. To be very, very careful with those. So that's why those are more expensive, because they have to be handled with a lot more care. But I love putting stuff at the bottom of the hooks. Like the pineapple one. The pineapple one. Oh my gosh, I love those so much. The pineapple ones are so cute. I have if people like avocados, I have really cute kawaii.
Oh, that's so funny.
To make. I just got to find a good glitter, because brown and green, it's kind of hard to find a glitter mix that looks good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's, right now, we have gotten to a point now where it is like we're playing around with like the mica and the glitter because we can only put it over the top since we're printing the hooks. But it's been really fun getting to like try out new combinations, but then there is always that fear of like, oh, one of these combinations is going to be awful.
I've had
Have
some
you had
pretty
that?
awful
Have you had a
hooks.
pour? Have you had a pour where you're like, that did not turn out like I thought it was
Oh,
going to turn out?
trust me. Where I'm like, I have this idea, I'm gonna try it out, and then the first one I pull out, and I'm like, well, I just wasted an entire batch. I mean, I won't lie, the ones that I thought were not gonna sell, like I still posted them, and they still sold. People loved them. I think maybe it was just me personally, but I've had to jump out of my comfort zone for colors a lot, doing this business now. I'm trying to dabble outside of I like anything like grunge, dark, black, dark colors.
And I love the Stranger Things hooks. I thought that was awesome.
I kept two of those.
You should have.
I really like this. And it has a smoky look to it. It sucks because a lot of hooks that I make, the effects and the glitter, you can't capture it in camera. It's like you just
I know.
see it in person. So whoever has a Stranger Things hook, that smoky look, that's what I love about that hook because I used ink. I tried something different this time with that, but of course I packed it with glitter. Cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, and Amy, Toro 8 Star, I have an obsession with both of your hooks. I have like 30 plus hooks. They make crochet easier and less pain in the hand. So it sounds like because I know Amy has bought a lot of our hooks, and I'm guessing that sounds like she's bought a lot of both of our hooks, which is amazing. I did have someone who said that we are their favorite hook makers. So that's really fun to be able to. I think that was Ariana, if she's on here. So thank you. And thanks all of you for joining in today. We've had a lot of people on the live. I hope you guys have enjoyed the chat. We still have a few more minutes. So let's do some quick fire questions that are, the most important questions that we can ask. What is your go-to hook size when you're working on projects? Do you have a favorite?
5.5 for the winter and 3.5 for the summer garment stuff. So I'm working with a 3.5 right now. So, and I would say this handle, the agape handle, is my favorite to work with, especially with tighter stitches.
Next question.
With tighter stitches, you go agape. For everything and anything else, the love handle is probably the most universal one for small stitch.
I'm pretty sure I have one of those. I was going to see if I could find it.
Look at all that yarn.
There you go.
I like that.
And that was the 8 millimeter that you made for me because I didn't have an 8 millimeter hook at the time. And what was I going to say? I just lost it. 5.5 is for the summer for me because that's what all of my crop tops call for, a 5.5. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's 5.5 for beanies and shawls and stuff. So for sure.
So when you crochet, do you like to binge watch Netflix? Do you listen to music, podcasts, or just like silence when you crochet?
I'm weird. I do it mostly in silence. If I do listen to anything, more than likely a podcast. It's mostly in silence. I'm weird like that. My husband will come in and he'll be like, "You don't have anything on, you're just crocheting in the living room?" Yep. I'm okay with the fan.
Same thing. Yeah, and that was actually what Kelly of Knitbrooks the last week, she said the same thing. So you are not alone. I feel like I'm getting that answer more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Silence. And I think because it's like meditation, I mean, you just get to focus on what you're doing and your mind is focused on that. Yeah, I agree 100%.
I am watching Stranger Things all over again doing this one though. So I will say that I'm on a Stranger Things binge right now. I'm sad that it's over.
Did you see the finished jacket?
Yeah.
The max jacket? I added the zipper.
Let me see. No, I didn't get to see it with the zipper. I remember you saying you're going to add it.
Yes. Okay. I'm so happy, and I've got to do a call for testers at some point, but I still have to weave in this top end. But I added the zipper, and I actually added it with yarn,
Oh,
so it made it really easy. And I went through this last row. I finally did a video. I finally did a video of how I do this because people were asking, because, you know, I added the zipper in my Angelica jacket too.
I love it. And his zip's up good. Oh, there it is. Ooh, I love it. And are those strings? Is that? Oh, that's just the.
No,
end
I need to do that. The end of my video is going to show how I weave this top piece in, because I went from the bottom to the top when I sewed it on there. So that's actually what the tail from the zipper.
Okay.
So I do need to weave that in. But I'm so happy with how it turned out, and this took some to get these to line up. That was actually harder than I thought it would be, even though I worked this all on the same panel.
Oh, wow.
But for some reason, I don't know why, if it's just the way that I stitched, this was not even. So I had the zipper is what actually fixed it and made it super even for me.
Nice. Good.
So that was interesting.
I love the ribbing at the bottom. The ribbing at the bottom, I love that. And you have it on the wrist. I love that.
Yep, I really wanted that athletic jacket feel.
You did such a good job. I love it.
And it's a 10 millimeter hook, so I'm sticking in my range. I don't like to do anything outside of 10 millimeters, since that's what we make, 10 millimeter enough. I try to stick to that, but the crop tops were the only one.
Is your new pattern out for the top? Is that out yet?
Which one? This
one you got? Yes, that one. Your newest top is the pattern out.
That one is the Nancy. So I've got the Phoebe was the one that was just released, and that one. I don't have it in here, but it's got like the line this way and a thicker bottom strap. That one. That one's released. The Phoebe's released. The Nancy is the newer one, and the Nancy is definitely more of like a bra substitute. It doesn't have as much coverage. It's supposed to be more of like, you know, I guess for me, it actually looks like I have, you know, some cleavage, even though I'm so little, like it doesn't matter. But it's definitely not a high coverage. But that's the difference. So the Nancy one is the one I actually made for myself as a bra substitute, like in the summer, because I didn't want to wear regular bras. Right. Whereas the Phoebe is a little more, the Phoebe's the best for if you are bigger than like a double D. It's going to offer the best coverage and support, whereas the Nancy is going to be, once you get up to like double DG, it's kind of pushing it. And it does depend on like your boobs. I know that sounds weird, but like some people have heavier boobs than others, and like it's just not
them to fall out.
So, yeah. And so the Phoebe is definitely, I think it tested better with people who are above the double D range, and they really liked it. Whereas the Nancy is kind of, like I said, it's kind of pushing it once you get to the double DG. But it's been crazy. I have over 50 testers going right now for the Nancy. And I think I had
any mistakes or any changes you're going to find it now. You got 50
and that's because there's so many bra sizes. That's why. True. Like I think the only reason that I have duplicate bra sizes in the test is if they're veteran return testers, because I like to just let them, like, you've tested a million patterns, I'll bring you on even though I have multiples. But I mean, I've got bra sizes ranging from, you know, 32 double A and 30C all the way to like 50H in the last.
That's why I didn't get into pattern making. My brain was hurting too much just with the beanie sizing for like 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to, you know, like I can't do this.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And I couldn't do it without the community. Like the fact that you came back to that as well. It's the support of the testers and of the people who buy my patterns that keep me inspired to keep doing it. That makes it worth it. If I didn't have that and I was just kind of closed off and doing it on my own, or like, you know, using, what is it called? Not pattern testers, but the, like the technical people who just go through and check your math. I can't remember the name of it.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I would feel closed off, and I don't think I would enjoy it. But for me, getting to see everybody's progress, I let them choose whatever colors they want. So like the creativity that comes out and like the community that they form supporting each other, and then all of a sudden they're all following each other on Instagram and sharing each other's posts, and I'm like, oh, this is
It's
what I
awesome.
want. Tech editor. That somebody said tech
Tech
editor.
editor,
Guess what
there
it
it
is.
is.
Yep,
I
yep,
was
yep.
like, man, I know what she's talking about. I just
Yeah.
don't have a clue what it's called.
Okay, so we are at the end of our time, but I wanted to give you an opportunity. Do you have anything that's coming up that you're excited about, or anything you want to share with everybody?
Today is restock day at 5 p.m. When I get off the live, I'm going to be choosing the 2 or 3 colorways I'm letting the people choose throwback colorways because it's so
That's
hot
cool.
here right now. We're going through a heat wave. And like right now it's 81 and it's 11 and it's going to be 99 later. So because of the heat wave, I can't pour in these conditions. So yeah, I'm letting the customers pick their colorway. So right when I get off this live, I'm going to pick them and announce them. But we have a restock at 5.
Awesome.
15 millimeter is going to be hitting the shop regularly soon. Yeah, that's about it. Just same old, same old. Thank you so much, everyone, for always supporting me and showing up every restock. I pretty much sell out since I've started, so it's been great.
And where can people find you? I know you've got your Instagram, which you guys definitely need to go follow her on Instagram here.
I have not started my Facebook yet. I opened it up, but I have not like set it up or done anything.
Somebody's going to have a Facebook group, right? A group. We're doing a group. Woo, so excited for you. Yes.
Facebook group thing. So that's coming soon, you guys. I promise. New things are always tough for me to start and get it going.
But
so
once you get it going, I promise once you get that Facebook group going, you don't have to do that much,
Yeah,
and then someone shared
TikTok. I'm on TikTok as well.
So TikTok, Instagram, and then your website is where you've got your shop. You don't have an Etsy shop, right? It's just your website.
No, I left Etsy a little while ago. So yeah, just my website, lovestitchesall.com. I don't do much on the website except for on restock days. So if you need to find me, IG is the best place to contact me. I'm on there more than anything else. So
awesome. Well, I'm so glad you came on today. We will definitely have to, you'll have to come back on. I've started doing, I try to bring new people on, but I have started trying to bring people back just to catch up, so maybe in like a couple of months, we can talk about the holidays and, some of the new things that you've done. I think that'd be fun. We have an easy chat together.
Yeah.
Works well. So again, thank you everyone for coming on. This was Pink Sheep and Friends Friday. This is every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. You can come make a new fiber friend and find more people in the crochet community to follow and be a part of their communities. Next week, I will be chatting with Kayla of Alt Knots. We'll have this is going to be our second chat that we've had, and then I go live on Tuesdays on YouTube. So if you are a YouTuber, you like hanging out over on YouTube, I go live on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central Time as well. It's usually like a tip Tuesday. So I'll find a topic and we'll chat about the topic. Last week was community. That's why I mentioned that on this live. But I hope you guys, and I hope you, Diane, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a great weekend, because now it's the weekend.
I see my husband on there. My husband just jumped on. You're on your work one. What are you doing on your work one? Thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Of course. Well, we will see you guys very soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.